Today, we'll talk about ghosting, why it happens, and how to handle it. Plus, we'll practice some grammar in context with a point of view story. Before you start listening, go quickly to my website and get the transcript for free. Visit speakenglishpodcast.com/podcast. Hi, I'm Georgiana, and I'm back with a new episode. I'm here to help you speak English fluently. If you want to help me, share the podcast with your friends and family. That would mean a lot. Thanks. On my website, you can find the 5 secrets to speaking English and my premium courses. Okay, let's start. Since Halloween is coming, let's talk about something spooky. Ghosts and ghosting. I don't believe in real ghosts, but they are fun to see in stories, movies, and on Halloween. A ghost is the spirit of a person who has died, and people imagine they appear and disappear mysteriously. Have you ever heard of ghosting? It's when someone suddenly stops talking to you without saying why. Imagine you're messaging someone you like, and then, without warning, they disappear, like a ghost. Ghosting means ending all contact with someone, leaving them wondering what happened. It sounds spooky, but it happens in real life. The idea of ghosting originally comes from the supernatural. Just like ghosts can appear and disappear in haunted houses, a person who ghosts you appears in your life only to vanish without a trace. Over time, we started using this word to describe the sudden, unexplained ending of relationship communication. Why do people ghost? People might ghost for many reasons. Maybe they're uncomfortable with conflict, or they don't know how to express they're no longer interested. And other times, they might find it easier to just disappear instead of dealing with the awkwardness of saying goodbye. Regardless of the reason, ghosting can leave people feeling confused, hurt, and wondering if they did something wrong. It's important to remember that ghosting says more about the person ghosting than the one being ghosted. How to handle ghosting. If you suspect you've been ghosted, the best thing to do is to let go and move on. Easier said than done, I know. But remember that ghosting is about the other person's inability to communicate. Don't blame yourself. Talking to a friend or family member can also help process the situation and move forward. Great! Let's continue with a point of view lesson. You can find these techniques fully implemented in my premium courses. Visit speakenglishpodcast.com/courses. Okay, let's start. Last Halloween, Harriet was excited. She's been chatting with a charming guy named Win for a few weeks and agreed to finally meet at a Halloween party. Harriet went all out and dressed as a ghost, thinking it would be funny and fit the Halloween spirit perfectly. But when she got to the party, Win was nowhere to be found. She checked her phone and sent him a message, but there was no response. She waited, looked around, and even checked outside. Still nothing. It was as if he had vanished. Days went by with no reply from Win. Finally, she realized. She, the one dressed as a ghost, had been ghosted. How ironic. After a good laugh and a few eye rolls, Harriet talked to her friend. Her friend reminded her that people who ghost often don't know how to communicate well. So Harriet decided to let it go, focus on herself, and enjoy her Halloween story, a bit of a spooky twist on ghosting. Let's listen to the same story in the plural and present tense. This Halloween, Harriet and her friends are excited. They've been chatting with a few charming guys for weeks, and they all agree to finally meet at a Halloween party. Harriet and her friends dress as ghosts, thinking it's funny and perfect for the Halloween vibe. But when they arrive at the party, the guys are nowhere to be found. They check their phones and send messages, but there's no response. They wait, look around, and even check outside. Still nothing. It's as if the guys have vanished. Days go by with no replies. Finally, they realize the irony. They were ghosted while dressed up as ghosts. After a good laugh and a few eye rolls, Harriet and her friends talk about it. One of them reminds the group that people who ghost often don't know how to communicate well. So they decide to let it go, focus on themselves, and enjoy their Halloween story, a spooky twist on ghosting. Let's listen one more time from a different viewpoint. This Halloween, the guys were excited. They've been messaging with Harriet and her friends for weeks. They've been messaging with Harriet and her friends for weeks, and they finally agreed to meet at a Halloween party. The guys arrived, dressed as monsters, ready to have a fun night. They looked around for the girls, checked their phones, and even sent messages. But there was no sign of them. After a while, they thought maybe the girls were at a different party. So they decided to leave and try something else. A few days later, they realized the funny twist. The girls had dressed as ghosts, and they had accidentally ghosted them. After a good laugh, they learned they should probably be better at messaging back. A Halloween memory they'll never forget. Great! I like these kinds of stories because they're easy to remember and help a lot with learning English. Humor also makes learning more enjoyable. You can find this method in my premium courses. Visit speakenglishpodcast.com/courses. Also, if you want to help me, share the podcast with your friends and family. That would mean a lot. Thanks. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Get the transcript now at speakenglishpodcast.com.